Hey guys, Max 2015, welcome back to another episode of Boom Beach. It's kind of late at night, so I kind of have to talk in a low tone. My dad's sleeping upstairs, he's visiting New York, so until he goes back home, I'm gonna have to keep things low a little bit. So hopefully you guys can still hear me through the mic. Anyways, back to the game. I wanted to show you guys some replays. I only have a couple to share, but I did wanted to share this one from my task force teammate Jlex, who's currently the number, what is he? He's the number 6 player in the US, so he's pretty well, high up there in the leaderboard. I am right now at number 11 with 1,352 victory points, which is not too shabby, if I say so myself. If you notice, though, on paper it looks like we're only 5 spots away between 6 and 11 in the United States, but if you look at our victory point counts, he's about 121 victory points ahead of me. That's how big the gap is once you get up in the leaderboard. So, 6 spots with 120 victory points difference. So that's quite a lot, I think. Anyhow, this is his attack. He used TRM. And if you notice, his statue boost is pretty similar to mine. I have 88, 88, and 84. When boosted, so we're actually pretty similar. I think we both have 5 ice statues. So this was a center base, double shielded. The 2 shields are in between the trees, but you can kind of trace that through the cables coming out of the HQ. He did have 4 ice statues, all 4 of them boosted. There's one masterpiece right there. So anyways, he just laid down all the troops, the rifles in front of the tanks, of course, to absorb all of those shots. There's 2 boom cannons in the front, can be pretty dangerous. There were actually 3. He took down one of them with gunboat energy, which I would have done the exact same thing. So the good thing is that those rifles lasted long enough to give him enough time to get rid of get rid of all the 3 boom cannons in the front. He smoked some of the tanks in the bottom there just to keep them away from this one cannon shooting at them. So at this point he kind of flared to the left side, shocked the shot launcher and the last boom cannon, and then threw another smoke on those medics just so that keeping them alive. When you only have 5 medics, and I've said that before, losing one can make a big difference, so it's important to try to keep those medics alive. So flare straight to the boom cannon, get that thing out of commission before losing any more tanks. At this point he flared backwards towards the economy buildings. I'm assuming it's because mainly to gather the troops, let the medics do a little bit of healing in there, but more importantly was to get some gunboat energy back. He did throw a couple of shocks, so I'm sure he needed more gunboat energy, because as he's going to approach the last boom cannon, the last shot launcher is going to need the extra GBE to shock it. So and you'll see that's exactly what he does. So he lets his tanks spread out a little bit. A couple of them just got parked in front of the HQ, but they're within range of that shot launcher. So he just waited for the remaining tanks to finish off one of the shields before he shocked the shot launcher and the boom cannon there. I think that was his last shot, or maybe he had one more. Yeah, he had just one more. So that's gonna be the last one, I believe. And as the tanks, kind of slowly creep into the remainder of the base, he throws some critters, make sure that boom cannon does not take he did take a shot at the tank, so never mind, scratch what I just said. But after that shot, he did, the boom cannon did, focus its attention on the critters. So after that, you can see the tanks kind of wrapping around the HQ, which is something I've done before myself, and they were able to finish out the last boom cannon. All the meanwhile, this little group of tanks here on the left side, flying under the radar, they were just slowly taking down the health on the shield. So so this is where he stopped it, I think. And yeah, just let the rocket launcher, the mortar, and the shot launcher all focus on those tanks in there. Meanwhile, the rest of the tanks here, that are safely finishing off the HQ. So we can just finish that pretty quickly right there. And that was the base. So typically that's how all of our TRM attacks go, and I have a couple myself which I want to share with you. By the way, a little change on my base. I switched back from the double shield layout, which honestly wasn't working very well for me, back to a corner layout, and I put down a laser beam. So I'm kind of cycling through all the prototype weapons because I never really had them before when I was saving power powder. So this is the first time I actually used them, and I wanted to see how they're performing. So far, I have to say I think the shock blaster and shield combo are the ones that are working best for me. Also, the boost on my ice statues just ran out, but that's because I'm online. I do have 15 minutes left, so I have to make sure. The other night I was playing, and this is to maximize the amount of the time of boost that I can get out of my ice. And so if the boost can run out while I'm still playing, then that's fine because I can be online for 3 hours, without, that's an extra 5 powders if you consider it, because I have 4 statues boosted. But anyways, the other day I was doing the exact same thing, and then my base, I ran out of the timer, and somebody just barged in and attacked me and totally raided me because my statues weren't boosted. So that really sucked. Anyhow, this one base here, how much ice did he have? Oh, 5 ice statues. Masterpiece is boosted. I had to use RZCM for him. I think it was a fairly straightforward base. Still kind of tough though. When you have more than 2 ice, it's always harder, especially when the masterpieces are boosted. Anyways, the good thing in here is that all the big single shooters were in the front. I mean, with the exception of the flamethrower in there, which was fine, but I was just able to shock it along with the other splash damage, which was the machine gun and the shot launcher. So that was pretty good. I did have to kind of take some flack from that rocket launcher, but since I have 2 troop health statues now going on, they can kind of handle it. So through some critters, distract the mortar, hopefully, and the boom cannons. The critters really don't last long sometimes. So here, once I took off the flamethrower there, I think, and the shot launcher can kind of flare to the right side and let them, keep on moving and making their way up into the HQ here. So more critters, try to distract the rocket launcher mainly. Actually, mainly the mortars. I think the mortars, 2 mortars shooting at the same time was more dangerous. So I was able to shock the entire cluster there, which was good. I wanted to let the Zookas finish off some of the buildings on the bottom there first before shocking again, and then flaring straight into that the last rocket launcher there. So I was getting a little antsy because my 1 shock was running out and I didn't have enough for any more shock. So I threw a med kit, which is all I could afford, and I covered this little group of Zookas here, mainly to keep them away from this 1 mortar. So I think it worked. Let's see what happens. I don't remember really. Yeah, so the mortar starts focusing on the rifles on the other side, but I think he did eventually get the Zookas, did it? Oh, he got a big patch of Zookas there on the other side. Yeah. So, oh, I remember that. Right after that, I kind of realized I should have flared straight into the mortars rather than the boom cannon first, because the boom cannon is single shot. So by flaring to the boom cannon first, the mortars had extra time to kind of shoot at me, and they took out a ton of my Zookas. So I don't know how many I had in there. It looks like 6. Yeah, 6 Zookas left. So, with that amount of minutes time left to finish off a shield and the HQ, that was kind of risky. In fact, this was, I think, the second time I did this attack, because the first time I did run out of time. So, I was lucky this one. Oh, it wasn't 5 ice, it was 6 ice. That's another one right here. Yeah, it was 6 ice statues. Huh, even harder. Anyways, that was Mr. Sa, which is Mr. Sand in English. And then ZSF, he was a last spawn, last minute spawn on my base. He kind of spawned towards the end of, in the middle of my raid. And when I looked at him, he had a Doom Cannon, which works really well for RZM, and his masterpiece here was not boosted. Only the troop, the building health, but not the defensive building damage. So I went right in. I didn't even hesitate. So I just used gunpowder energy to finish off the not the HQ, the rocket launcher and the shot launcher, and then just kind of make my way into the base from the bottom right there. Through some critters, mainly to take off some of the mines. He had a lot of the mines were put out in like little patches. So there were 3 there. There were a couple of patches in here, and clumped up mines like that. It's just so dangerous for RZM, or for any troop for that matter. So anyhow, and here my troops were doing really well. Like I said, because his building damage wasn't boosted, my troops were really able to last a long time. So I originally planned on flaring to the right side and then eat the base from one side, but they were doing so well that I just decided to just let them do their whole thing and just go straight head on into the base. So I threw a shock there. I did miss the one boom cannon, which was kind of a mistake, but you know, it didn't matter. I still have so many Zookas shooting at the HQ already, so all I had to do was let the remainder of the troops from both sides get some more gunboats so I could throw an extra last shock towards the boom cannon and the doom cannon. So it's gonna come sometime right there. Yes, so I was able to shock everything in there, and at this point the shield came down, so you know, I had a big amount of Zooka shooting in there. So this base was actually pretty easy, even though he did have 4 ice statues. But like I said, when they're not boosted, you know, boost makes a big difference in the game. So having only one ice booster really didn't make a big difference, which was good for me, you know. Next we have Achilles, which we defeated maybe 1 or 2 videos ago. I remember I spoke about him. He did change his base though. He changed the layout. I guess the double shield wasn't working very well for him, just like it did for me. So he switched back to a center layout with 1 shield and a shock blaster. I did fail it with RZM. Was it RZM? Yeah, I failed it with no, not RZM, with TGRM. I tried to do it because it looked like a typical layout, but it's just so much ice. I couldn't do it with TGRM. They just didn't have enough damage. So I decided to go with heavy Zooka and do what I suppose we can call it the back and forth smoking. So deploy the heavies and the Zookas behind them, take out some of the buildings in the front, and then smoke them all the way back towards the shield. I was getting a little nervous because, you know, this group of Zookas were trailing so far behind those heavies in the front, but whatever. They're already halfway through the base, so I couldn't stop. Luckily, though, the flares do last pretty long, so, you know, the troops didn't have time to catch up. Threw an extra flare there to regroup them, flare to the flamethrower, threw some critters as usual to distract whatever I could, and then hope that the Zookas would clean up the front there. Those mortars were, you know, a little scary, but fortunately they all focused on the heavy. So once the Zookas finished off some of the defenses, they took down the shield really quickly, and then I was able to flare them back down towards the HQ. And this is the best one I've done so far in all the bases combined, because this is the one time when I got the great majority of the Zookas in there. And then as the smoke wears out, just flare straight to the HQ with some critters, and then shock the defenses around it. I mean, it looks like there weren't too many Zookas in there, but like my friend Brock says, it's a small ball of Zookas, but there's a lot of girls in there. So right there, the HQ came down really nicely. This base did have 5 ice statues, 4 of them boosted, so it did have quite a bit of boost, and it worked out really nicely. You know, when this particular strategy and technique works, I think it's the most beautiful play in Boom Beach because it's just so technical. I love it. The last piece here, Atao, which means the claw, I guess. I failed a couple of times, but mainly it was just all what do you call it, gunboat energy testing. And here I did deploy the troops, but I retreated right away because I didn't like the way I put them down. So anyhow, let's see. This was a corner base with a laser beam. I did lose to him with RZM because lasers are just so deadly towards Zookas. So I couldn't really do it with RCCM, so I had to use tanks. Plus it's tank mania, so may as well, right? It only costs like 50 diamonds to do TRM, so that was a really great deal. So anyhow, I took down the first rocket shot launcher in the front, and I wanted to smoke around the base so I wouldn't have to deal with this particular boom cannon. So, you know, if I can avoid dealing with at least boom cannon in the base, then I usually try to do that. So I try to make my way towards the left side, put down the rifles a little late so that they could catch up and not get killed by either the rockets or the flamethrower in the front. So right there, we flare a little bit to the side. And bear with me, guys. I know tank attacks are really slow, but when they do work on ice bases, they're actually pretty fun. So right there, the rifles get in front of the tanks, and they're doing a really great job of absorbing the shots from that boom cannon and the cannon. The problem was that there were the laser beam and the 2 rocket launchers shooting at us. I did also finish off this one boom cannon with the remainder gunboat energy I had. And then at this point, I had to start throwing shocks. But right there, flare to the boom cannon first. Needed to take that out first. I guess I didn't shock yet because there were still a couple of rifles remaining in there, so may as well take advantage of them rather than wasting gunboat energy. So some critters to distract that last cannon in there. And all the meanwhile, the tanks are actually doing a pretty great job down here clearing up all the economy buildings. The good thing though is that this base did have all the buildings really clumped up together, so gunboat energy did come kind of, you know, good. And here I missed that shot launcher though with that shock. I did have a lot of gunboat energy, so I had plenty to keep on shocking around. So as you'll see right there, that one was a little late. That boom cannon did take a shot and kill one of my tanks, but anyways. Flare straight to the cannon, take that one out, and then I had to flare to the second cannon, right there. Not flare, shock. So let them clear up some of the buildings, and I still had enough for one more shock, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. Do I? Oh, yeah, right there. That was the last shock, and then I had to flare straight to that boom cannon. This last cannon in here did come into play within range though, so I had to smoke those tanks on the right side, on the left side there. Once I took off the fourth boom cannon and one of the machine guns, then I was able to flare them back, you know, away from the range of those mortars and the boom cannon. And then they finished off the HQ right after that. So that was a pretty good win. Like I said before, I did fail to this one base a couple of times. He did have 6 ice statues, which is a lot. 6 and masterpieces were boosted. But we did pretty well, actually. I think, at least I think we did. And the HQ will come down right about there. Great. So there you go, guys. A lot of bases with a lot of ice recently. So, and to my surprise, tanks actually do work in high level. I know levels will get higher, so I consider myself a mid-level player with, you know, 1,350 victory points. So, oh, by the way, so have you guys noticed who's in here, who's spawned on my map? None other than my friend Gazar Wood. So I'm just gonna let him sit in there for a little while. I haven't had a chance to talk to him yet. I did draw a little happy face again, just like when Jalex spawned on my map. There's about 3 minutes left on that clock here, so I'm gonna start boosting before somebody barges in and kicks me out of my own game and raids me. So I think 16 hours will be good. And this one. So for the time being, I'm only boosting 4 out of the 5 ice statues. I don't know if boosting the extra defensive building damage will make a big difference. I don't know. But anyways, in the meantime, I think 4 is plenty. How are we doing on time? Just around 18 minutes. So okay, so what I was doing, since we have a little bit of time left, I thought maybe we can do an operation attack. Since that last video that I posted from Operation Massive Attack with the other task force, Shrey's, received a lot of views compared to my other videos. So I thought, oh, maybe people are actually into operation attacks, so why not? So I'll just throw one attack in here. We'll just finish those guys off. And I think it was Tech Crunch that I wanted to hit while I still have some of my offensive boost going on. So I think we're going to try to walk a straight line if possible. The mines in here? No. Towards the corner here, and then hopefully we can snipe the HQ from there. So let's give it a try. Hopefully I don't mess up. The problem with the operation attack is that you can only try one time, which I don't like particularly. Throw some critters, see if we can clear off some of those mines. Not the best job. I'll have to throw an artillery in there, right there. So now we can flare to the corner, put down the Zukas, one by one. I've said it before and I'll say it again. I am not good in operations. It's not my specialty. In fact, I think I kind of suck at them, but whatever. They're part of the game, so I still need to participate. I can't just, you know, be a freeloader in the game here. Alright, so try to keep those smokes nice and tidy. I don't care if I lose a few heavies in the front. I just don't. Ooh, man, look at those mortar. Okay, I have to keep in mind that the flares are taking longer and longer. Not the smokes are taking longer and longer to get there. They take about 2 seconds actually, right there. Man, we're really low in gunboat energy. I'm gonna have to need just enough to flare to shock the mortars and the shock launcher, because that's the most dangerous part here. Let's go shock. Right there. Oh man, I feel like that thing was just about ready to take a shot. Okay, I have enough for another shock, so alright, I'm feeling pretty good about it right now. So throw a shock there, throw a shock here. Okay, good. I think we'll be able to park the troops. Let me just flare back a little bit. Throw a medkit, even though I know it's kind of pointless. And alright, so I have a lot of Zukas. Oh, the hot pot. Man, I completely ignored the hot. Oh, those heavies are just gonna melt away. Look at their health. These are boosted heavies, and look at that hot pot just creaming them. But it doesn't matter. The heavies, they already served their purpose, which was to, you know, kind of open the path for the Zukas. I do have, what is it, 2 heavies left? And oh, okay, that boom kind of just killed it. But it looked like that one heavy was pointing in the wrong direction there, didn't he? All right. Why are the Zukas shooting all at unison? I mean, they all did walk away after the... Man, this is going to be 1 minute and 46 seconds of just sitting here watching. I'm completely out of gunboat energy, so no matter what I do, what I click, there's nothing I can do. So, you know, while they work around the base, what else could we have done here? Not a lot. How many shields is in this base? Oh, look at that. The shields are actually neatly placed, you know. Like a row of defenses, a row of, and then one shield. A row of mortars, shield, sniper towers, shield, machine gun, shield, and then rockets. Alright, that shield's about to come down. Oh, perfect. Now we have enough gunboat energy to... What should we do with 23 gunboat? Wow, look at the health on that issue just screaming down. Man, boosted Zukas are so overpowered. Wow. Also, I've spent 2 or I think 3 days at Shui's where they're doing massive attack and dead end in their operation. So the boost on those operations is ridiculous. It's about 300 or 330%, which, man, I wanted to cry when I saw these defenses. So by comparison, when I saw the health in this particular core coming down so quickly, it was like, wow. It makes the Zukas look overpowered, but in reality, I think it's just that the other base and the other operations, the buildings just have way too much boost. Alright, so I'm going to leave TRM training just to deal with NPCs tomorrow morning. Actually, you know what? TRM would be better. Yeah, and it'll be cheaper also. Good. Alright guys, so I think we're going to stop the video there. I think it's just about 23 minutes long. So, alright, hopefully you guys enjoyed the videos. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the replays. And guys, it's Tank Mania, so give TRM a try. They really do work. I only have 5 offensive statues, but if you have 5 or more, I can guarantee they'll do really well against very heavily ice boosted bases. So go ahead and give tanks a try. Okay guys, in the meantime, I'll see you guys next time. Take care. Bye.